I mean, you should be playing off the Steam Deck screen, not the OBS window or something, right?
Well, the OBS window is the correct order. It's the stream going to you that looks backwards to me.
But it's not. It's the stream going to us looks fine.
I understand that. I'm telling you that on my side, it's
that
backwards.
Stream looks backwards. I see.
Yes.
It's one of those things where if it's mirroring for if you're streaming yourself.
It's doing something.
I think that's what it is, so that you could position yourself properly on the screen facing the way you want.
Yeah, it's trying to be whatever it is. But you can see this moving around now, right?
Yep.
This is fun. Hello and welcome to episode 412 of We Were Gamers. This should have been the 411 episode if it was going to be all about information. But it's not. That's true or not true. Hello, JJ.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm trying to figure my thing out, I'm trying to figure out all the things that we want to do in this world. Comic-Con got me kind of tired, but
that's sure a lot of you're thinking about a lot of things, man. That's a lot of stuff.
I am thinking about
fences.
I'm thinking about a lot of things. I switched to desktop mode and now the screen sharing has gone away, so that's fun and exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the output changed, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah. There's more screen sharing options, so we'll try that while we say hello to Michael.
Hey, everybody.
There we go. It's back. It should have come back on your side now.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Michael, how are you?
Mostly recovered, I think.
Mostly recovered. Comic-Con happened, you guys.
Sure did.
We survived.
I had a good time. Yeah. Is it age that removed us from trying to do too many exclusives? Is that what happened?
I think it's the same thing that's removed us from that in previous years, right? Where like the line is 80,000 hours and we're way too lazy to stand in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was definitely
smaller microcosms of that, right?
Yeah, that's true. I was punished for my desire to do that. So
I mean,
I was punished for my desire to do that. The one time I wanted to do it was for a line for Hallmark, and it took me 2 hours almost.
Yeah, Hallmark is a bad one in general.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I forgot that I have like a keyboard and stuff set up for this thing.
They didn't really have their act together this year, I would say. I heard people complaining about them all over the con.
Maybe this is a general thing this year, but I felt like there was a higher than usual disorganization level going on this year. And I speculated during the con, I wonder, is it that Comic-Con got hit by the same problem that everybody else got hit by during and immediately after COVID, where all of the people who were knowledgeable about how it should work and who helped things run smoothly all kind of retired from doing it.
Brain drain in a weird way?
Yeah, kind of.
Certainly could be. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, man, it was evident on the very first day. We had that exclusive screening thing on Thursday, and that was a shit show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Did I not talk about this with you guys?
You told me. I don't think you told Andy. So give him the rundown on what went on.
So for folks who don't know, Comic-Con was this past weekend. We talked about it. One of the things that happened there was they were going to do a panel for Deadpool and Wolverine Thursday night in Hall H. Hall H is the big, huge auditorium, right? So they have, it's like 6,000 or whatever people, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get to this screening, you had to receive an invite. So it's not just like anyone could go. You had to be picked. And some of the people who were picked got just one seat because that's what they signed up for, or you could sign up to bring a +1, basically. And, the email response told you whether you got 1 or 2 seats.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in theory, they're like, hey, you'll scan your badge. It'll know whether you get in or not. And then you're good. Right.
Sure.
But, there was a panel in Hall H before this. So this was starting at 6:30. The last panel ended around 4, I think. That's a pretty long period of time. You think that shouldn't be too bad, right?
Right. Sure.
I mean, they got all those tents over there. They could line people up there and just have them ready to go, all scanned in, whatever. Do we think any of that happened?
No, it's very unlikely.
No, nothing happened. They had, the Hall H was completely full, so they had to empty that completely, right? Which is going to take some time, reasonably. But they wouldn't allow anyone for the screening to start lining up until 4 o'clock. So they didn't clear any of the other lines. They didn't do any of that stuff until exactly 4 o'clock. Okay, are there rules about that or something maybe? I guess, sure, whatever. But then you'd think, well, they'll start loading up the tents, right? No.
Sure.
No, they didn't do that. They loaded exactly what would be like one chute. Also, they searched everyone's bags and stuff for some reason. I didn't know that was a thing they did in Hall H before.
To try and keep people from pirating the movie, probably.
They were just metal detectors. Everyone had phones. They didn't take those away.
Sure.
They loaded exactly one chute, then they left everyone else standing in a single file line.
Fun.
That line went, so they had all these empty tents, no one in them. That line went across the street very quickly, and then down the side of the hotel that was there to the harbor, followed along the back of one of the activations over there, turned left by like a bunch of those boats, continued on down the harbor all the way to the Shell, and then went back down the street towards the Shell, around the Shell completely.
For people that are not from San Diego, the Shell would be a giant concert venue that looks like a seashell.
Yeah. I would say the line was like 2/3 of the way down the marina, like completely. Insane. Completely insane. And they think they're going to move this entire large group of people within, 2-ish hours, somehow also checking these emails or whatever.
Okay.
Shockingly, that did not happen.
Shocked.
Yes. I don't know what the plan was for checking them or how they were doing it initially, but they clearly gave up by the time we got up there. And they were just like filing people in.
I heard about that. Did the room fill up then because just random people started showing up?
I mean, there was a huge line of people, so I don't know that any of those people would have been letting random people cut in front of them. But if, say, you had 3 friends who wanted to come and they just stood in line with you, they would all have gotten in.
Ooh, that's not a good look, right?
No.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad look. So, unclear how any of that was policed, which, I mean, by the time we got in, it was not, obviously. So, like general, like poor management of lines in general, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
The screening was fun. Like they showed the movie and the, Deadpool and Wolverine, the stars were there and all that. And that was cool. But again, like we were lucky that we got in. If we'd been farther back, we would have been screwed.
Yeah. That would have been bad, right? Well,
yeah.
you got into the mainline event, man. That's what everyone talked about. So, how was it?
The movie was great. I don't know that it was like the optimal theater viewing experience.
Oh, you mean you didn't have surround sound?
Though the sound was very surrounded and extremely loud. But as soon as any character appeared on screen or said a thing that was like, a reference in a movie full of references, the entire audience like starts hooting and hollering,
Mm-hmm.
So you missed a few lines in there.
Yeah, but it was a good time. They passed out popcorn for everybody, which was nice, like little individually wrapped bags of popcorn, which was fun. And they gave us one of those like popcorn bucket mouth things. Like Wolverine's face with the big mouth.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it was cool, And the movie was fun, so that was very, very good. But actually, I think at the end, that wasn't even my favorite panel from the con. Did you guys? Did you guys have any cool ones that you went and saw?
Wow, you're gonna make us go before you tell us what your favorite one was?
Well, yeah, I just talked for like 5 minutes.
It sounded
This is how
like
podcasts work, Andy. Do you remember? Give and
No,
take.
I don't. You know what? This is when I try to do streaming stuff. It feels to me like I have to relearn it every single time we do it. So I'm sitting here doing both things at the same time, and so like the more you talk, the better for me. But it sounds like we missed the best one of the weekend, which was the Wild Robot with a whole bunch of surprise guests. Same people that did How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch are doing a kids book called The Wild Robot, which is awesome. That's a great book. Um, Personally attended, really liked seeing Eric Powell. Patton Oswalt had a good one. I did mostly like I sat in panels for like 4 hours on Thursday morning, and it was actually kind of refreshing. I haven't done panels in years.
The panels are good, man. I really enjoyed the ones that I went to to be clear, I enjoyed that Deadpool one. That was the only one I did that day. But I did like 3 hours of panels the next day, or wait, Saturday. And they were great. Like all of them were great, actually. Did you hit up any panels, Michael?
This was the first year where I don't think we hit up a single panel. We did a lot more, I think, kind of as expected of how our con was going to go. There was a lot of in and out with the little one.
Oh yeah,
just
yep.
wanting to be outside, and so us having to take frequent breaks to basically let them have a recharge, and then back in to do a little more of the floor. So we did a lot of that back and forth, but it meant that we saw some stuff out in the gas lamp. There was a cool, I didn't get to go to a panel, but there was a cool installation that was props from Doctor Who and Star Trek. Right there on 5th where the Peanuts pop-up used to be. I don't know if you guys got out there to see that.
I walked by it, I think, a couple times, but I didn't go in. Was it cool?
Yeah, it wasn't big, but they had a bunch of costumes from both shows, and then a bunch of different props. Small scale stuff that was like sonic screwdrivers and phasers, and then some scale models of some of the ships from Star Trek. So they had some good stuff.
Ooh, that sounds.
They had you couldn't sit in it, but they did have a captain's chair.
Oh man, I would have loved to have seen those ship models and the chair. That would have been sick.
Why bring a chair if you can't sit?
That's a fair point.
Yeah, I'm sure it was from a collection somewhere.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
Don't tell me that.
Okay.
I don't want to hear about that.
Let me be the captain.
I want to sit in the chair. Come on.
They had one of those Artemis, I think is the name of it. They had, like you went to the miniature painting thing, JJ.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They had one of those ship bridge simulator things going on every day.
I saw that room. I did not. I walked by it, but I did not really poke my head in.
I applaud the people that do it. It feels like it would take a lot of time out of your day. But if you're there for it, you're there for it,
I mean, I think that's one of those things where it's like you're planning to go with a group of friends and spend all day in there. I don't know how else you could do it because seems complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
But I think Andy nailed it with the favorite panel of the con. That Wild Robot panel was very cool.
Oh, okay. You went. I'm jealous.
Yeah. Although actually, before I talk about it, I want to say I went to another panel that there were 2 panels before that we were at because we knew we wanted to do that one. And then I wanted to do the one before that, which was the Batman Masked Crusader panel.
Oh, yeah.
And then so we were there before that one because we figured Batman, very popular. And that was the Cartoon Voices panel. Have you guys ever been doing that?
No, I haven't.
You guys
I've done panels where cartoon voices have shown up.
Yeah, sure. You guys should put that on your schedules next year. There's 2 of them, I guess, and they sort of it's the same concept, but then they, do it new basically each time. The moderator has a group of voice actors up on the stage and hands them scripts, sight unseen, and they gives them parts, and they have to then read the scripts, in various voices that he assigns to them, and then at various points we'll tell them to like switch whatever persona they have to something else. Or in the case of one of the guys, he would just constantly assign him celebrities to impersonate. And so then they had to like read this script. It was for like the story of Cinderella or something, right? And there's like 6 or 8 people on the panel, and he's, constantly saying, okay, change, change, change. And so that like every third line, they're reading it with a different affect or a different voice, It was really cool. And then, they spent the other half of the panel talking about voice acting and how to get into it and what you do and how you, that kind of stuff. But the script read was like extremely entertaining, and I would go back like hands down.
That sounds fun.
And it sounds like the second version of the panel is just the same panel again, but new people to ask different questions to, and then a different script.
Oh, that's fun.
So yeah, that's on my radar now for next year's, where like I would go watch that because it's like very entertaining. The Batman panel was cool. They showed the first episode of that series. Hey, it's Batman. It's like Batman the Animated Series. Did you like that? You're probably gonna like this.
All right.
Pretty good. It's Batman the Animated Series, but they made it now instead of, in the 1990s. So there's some changes you might expect.
Like cell phones?
No, not quite.
Oh.
But like, how many women were in Batman the Animated Series?
Villains?
Total?
Villains.
I think the answer is like 4 total or something across the entire series run.
All villains.
Yeah, so they've rectified that a little bit, and they seem to have gender changed some of the villains even.
Yeah,
I saw that.
That has
been
going trailers on in the comics. Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, Michael. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I caught that in one of the trailers for this.
Yeah, that has been going on in some of the comics. People have been replaced.
Yeah, so I don't think it's too big a spoiler given it's the very first episode. The Penguin is a woman and is played by Minnie Driver.
I'm into that.
All right.
Yeah. And they had the Asian American actress who plays Harley Quinn, apparently, who was not in the episode, so I don't know what she looks like. And who else was there? Oh, the voice of Batman was there, whose name I forget. Obviously not Kevin Conroy, R.I.P.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be the first major go-round of a new character without him at least around to inform the performance. So it's
the guy sounded like Batman. I don't know what to say, right?
I mean, do you know who it is again? Sorry.
I don't remember the man's name.
Oh, it's not Will Arnett though.
No.
Okay. Because he did Batman for the movies.
No.
And then
there was a man whose name I'd never heard of.
Dietrich Bader. I think it's Dietrich Bader that did it for other stuff. Okay, never mind. I don't know who it is. I'm just saying.
I'll look it up if you give me a minute. Ask me anything about this.
AMA? Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Caped Crusader is the name of the show. Trying to find the cast. Hold on. I really enjoyed the first episode, so I think that it's an Amazon series, so it's dropping all at once.
Interesting that it's going straight to Amazon and not to Max.
Don't know what to say about that.
I don't either.
Don't know who's paying for it. The man's name is Hamish Linklater or Linklater.
Was he at the panel?
Yes.
I've seen this person before in shows and movies. I would not have been able to tell you his name before this moment.
Neither would I. That's why I had to look him up.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, that was a great panel. The executive producer Bruce Timm video messaged in to say some words or whatever. Also, the original executive producer of the animated series. So it sounded like he and the other executive producer that was there in person have hold it in great reverence, and were basically talking up how they were like, we can't do that again, but we had to do something similar. So it's kind of spiritual successor, not direct sequel kind of thing.
Well, that's for the better, 1,000%.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, they're like, it's not the same continuity or anything. It's different stuff, but it's spiritually in that vein, and the look certainly is the same. Even
Very
if
cool.
they're not doing cell animation anymore.
Well, I mean, those Wild Robot people tried their hardest, right? They were like, I know we can't do cell animation, but
yeah, really cool look. And the director, Lupita Nyong'o, whose name I can always feel like I'm mispronouncing.
that's the actress that's playing the robot. The director is Chris Saunders.
The voice actor for the duck his name is Kit something.
Kit Harington?
No.
Bright Bill?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then surprise guest about halfway through the panel of the voice of the bear in the movie, Mark Hamill showed up.
I wonder which
that's
bear.
what made it the best, and that's what made it the best panel.
Of course it did. Yeah. I don't know who this Kit Connor guy is.
White dude.
But
Shrug.
yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, it's fine.
He sounded good. He had a lot of interesting things to say about how do you play a duck that's confused and being raised by a robot.
Well, that's part of the story. That's not all of it.
Look, man, they only show 2 clips. They can't tell you the whole story in the panel.
I mean, they shouldn't tell you the whole story in the panel.
Right.
There's some good names on this list. Voice actors for that movie.
But that was the whole panel, so there was not anyone else, regardless of who else maybe.
They didn't tell you that Pedro Pascal was backstage the whole time?
They did say he was in the movie, but not that he was there. No, sadly.
Well, he was there. There's pictures.
Well, he was not at this panel.
I know. That's what the pictures were like. People were like, what the what? Very strange. Those books are good. If people want to read books with the chillins out there, or if you're an adult, I think they're okay as a quick read. Also.
You should tell people the name of the book.
The Wild Robot.
There you go. Look, books don't always have the same name as the movie. That's fair.
Okay, I agree with. I could see. You're right. That's true. The first one is called The Wild Robot, and the next one is called The Wild Robot Escapes, I think. The third one is by far the weakest. But I asked Chris Saunders directly because he was at his booth. And I said, so what did you cover? And they only covered the first movie, or the first book in this movie. So
he's leaving the door open for the sequel.
If you are interested in reading it beforehand, you only have to read one book. But maybe don't, just go enjoy the movie, because I'm sure it's going to be stellar, and it probably will change completely from the book.
He did talk a lot about the art direction of the robot and how it changes over the film and stuff. It was very interesting. Yeah, they have a lot of cool ideas, and if people haven't seen the trailer, God, it's so pretty looking. People should go watch the trailer.
It's like a 2D, 3D thing.
It's very impressionist-ic, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then the robot is very not.
Yeah, because she doesn't belong there, right?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, it's a cool. It was a cool panel for sure.
Awesome. Speaking of 2D, 3D, while we were at con, was there some news, Michael?
You're talking COTC?
I am.
So the news actually came out today, like 2
Oh.
hours ago. So while we were at con, they dropped the second anniversary celebratory banners and update the new characters that the whole community had been waiting on. And I don't know how deep you guys looked at the announcements that got made when all the new content dropped, but there was an error in one of the announcements. So
Correct.
they had announced that there was this paid step up banner, and for if you did a full loop of 1,200 paid rubies or 5 steps on the banner, you got to select a traveler of your choice. And they had mistakenly included the Champions of Memory banners in as being part of the pool that you got to draw from. So
the villains?
the villains banner.
Oh man, I wish.
Which
I wouldn't have paid. But I wish.
I mean, that makes it not relevant because it's
No,
paid only.
but I wish they would include them in other things, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, well, I think the important note was that they didn't mean to include them here, right, Michael?
They did not. So there was never any intent to include them. They were not a part of the pool, and they very quickly realized their mistake. By the time I logged in that morning, which was only a couple of hours after the maintenance had ended, they had already issued a notice of the mistake, and they had said that they apologized. And in the notice about the mistake, there was a statement that they were deliberating on what compensation would be for those players who had already pulled on it, thinking that the villains were on the banner. Well, tonight they announced what that compensation is. So for anyone who pulls on not only pulled on the banner then, but pulls on the banner anytime between now and when it ends in a week, for every step that you do, you get a seal that gets you a free 10 pull on a new banner that they created just to make amends. And you also get a fragment for a special selector. And you can use 5 of those fragments, or the equivalent of doing one run through all 5 steps of the banner, to pull any of the Champions of Memory that you want.
So
So now,
it's only for paid people though.
Yes, so it is only for paid people, but so a run through the banner now is 1,200. It's the same 1,200 rubies for 50 draws and a select of any traveler that is in Gen Pool, Sacred Blaze, or Memory Traveler. But it is also 5 extra 10 pulls for free and your choice of one of the villains.
So effectively doubling your money's worth if you consider getting one of the villains to be a reward?
Yes.
That's pretty sick.
I still can't spend on this game.
It's pretty solid as far as compensation goes. I think it is the most generous that they have been in a compensation for one of their mistakes.
I did use my 100 paid rubies or whatever on one pull on that banner. I didn't get anything, so I guess I'm going to get...
So you should log in because you should already have a token
pull?
for a free 10 pull.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they started giving it out now. I thought it comes out later.
No, I think they distribute it on the spot.
Whoa. Do it live, JJ. Tell us what you get.
Hold on.
Well,
it might be that you won't get it until the 7th, until they finish now that I'm scrolling to the bottom of the message here.
Well, we shall soon see, but yes, you're probably right. That makes more sense. They end the banner and then they give it out to everyone who spent on it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we should just say I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 new characters off of all these pulls, but it took me like 9,000 rubies in order to get the new characters to the point that I was comfortable with. I assume you guys did appreciably better than that. JJ saw my pulls. They were pretty unlucky.
Pretty unlucky for sure, yeah.
I mean, I hit some characters early, but I didn't hit any characters that I was going for, so I had to just keep going.
Yeah, I think my luck was probably pretty similar to yours. I wound up with 6 new characters. But I spent a considerable portion of the rubies that I had been hoarding.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a rough one. Afterwards, I kind of wondered about what the future looks like in terms of what I can afford in this game to keep playing it for free, you know?
Yeah, I think it'll depend on if and how much they accelerate the pace.
Well, they're talking about doing it.
I think also that how much you choose to engage with the game. Like, you have been kind of hands off for a while, and that's definitely led to cases where like you've missed a few rubies here or there, right? Or that there are rubies out there that you could go get that you just haven't done yet, right? But that would require you to like go back and do stuff in the game.
Cough, adversary log, cough.
Yeah, well,
Right.
I keep trying to do stuff in that adversary log, and I get like 1 or 2 levels in, and then it's like, okay, cool. Now I got to do like hours worth of work to get to these 10 rubies.
Right, but I mean, the grinding is also its own thing because you need those weapons and those other things in order to do the content and everything else, right? So
Yeah, it's getting considerably grindy, this game.
it's also one of those things that once you fall behind, it's harder to catch back up because it's the depth never stops, right? There's just more and more stuff to do constantly, and once you fall behind, you sort of end up at it. You just sort of have to stay at the farther behind pace, otherwise you go insane or have to spend hours that no sane person should have, right?
Which is exactly why they slowed down the pace of the game, I think.
Yeah.
So, I'm the problem.
Yeah,
I
finish
guess.
that boss, man.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're still on games, right? So, Michael, I just want you to know that the creators of Civilization also think along the same lines as we do. I just didn't mention it last week. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Yeah. Is that the name of one of the achievements?
Is the name of the achievement that I talked about last week, where you build the Panama Canal as Teddy Roosevelt.
Got it.
They would literally be fools to not, right? Like, what a great, perfect coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty good. I am still down the well of that game, of trying to decide if achievement hunting is fun or not. I think, JJ, though, I finished that most recent turn of the game as a warmongering Teddy Roosevelt, running everybody over with tanks that used to be Rough Riders.
Cool.
Trying to find Yellowstone National Park.
Did carrying the big stick feel good as opposed to the speaking softly part?
We didn't do a lot of speaking. We just did a lot of running people over with tanks.
So we set down the quiet voice and picked up the big stick.
Modern Armor in 1902 decided that the cities with Renaissance walls were not going to hold up to my P-51 strafing runs.
Yeah, walls don't do too good against planes.
Yeah, it's such a fun game in the aspect of going back and looking at it like, hey, I want to do these hard achievements that no one has done. 2% of players have made a national park of 2 different places on the map or something like that. Or 1% of players have a canal and a dam and a mountain tunnel pass and a hydroelectric plant all in the same city or something, stuff like that. Is maybe more actually of the game than I thought it was in the past. But it's fun to look back and be like, I haven't played this in 4 years, and I went back and played it, and I'm having just as much fun with it. So I'll probably set it down now that I've done 2 rounds of that and like hunted 10 achievements. But it's an older game that holds up. Going back is okay.
Well, I'm just worried that you're burning yourself out and Civ 7 is coming out this year, and then you're going to be like, I just played 57 hours of Civ and I'm not ready for the new hotness.
Civ 7 can't possibly be until next year.
I don't know, man.
2025. Gotta be.
Well, that would be good for my personal gaming habits, but I don't
know.
know.
I just wonder if maybe I like 4X more than I thought I did.
Well, I mean, I could have told you like it a lot, but you wouldn't listen to me. Given that you were the one who was like, we should play more Civ 5. And then we played it for like 200 hours or something.
Back when the online play was really, really rough and bad.
Yeah, and when it sucked horribly and we still played a bunch of it. Like, I was pretty confident you liked it.
I've set it aside for 4 years. I haven't played 4X since 2020. Oh, man.
No announced release date. They're revealing the full reveal of Civ 7 August this year.
Okay. Well, more on Civ at that point. Okay? I will set it down until then.
All right, you can keep playing Civ 6. No one's stopping you.
No. We got other things to discuss about playing video games, and I think, I don't know, should we look at the screen? Can you see what I'm trying to do?
You put in all this time on it. Let's do it.
I mean, it looks like I'm looking at a webpage here.
You are looking at. Can you read that webpage?
No.
Just the heading.
Xbox Cloud Gaming and Microsoft Edge with Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's about all I can read.
I want to get this working so that I don't go out and buy that new ROG Ally that just came out.
Yeah, it seems dumb. You got a Steam Deck. Why would you buy another one?
Well, because then I could run things natively. This is running through cloud.
Can't you install Windows on this?
You can't really. You could do something called the Decky Loader, I think, but a lot of people have said the Decky Loader breaks stuff when they update the Steam Deck, and I don't really want to break my Steam Deck too bad.
It doesn't support dual boot?
I don't know that I want to do that much work.
Okay, we're back to the we don't want to do this much work. Got it.
Again, that would be a solution of going out and finding stuff. So apparently we can go here to this Discover Software Center button and type in Edge into there. Maybe this keyboard's working. No, yeah, now the keyboard's working. Microsoft Edge right there, and we click this install button. I guess they've made this work somehow.
I mean, you can install things under any operating system if they allow you to. It's not illegal.
Well, yeah, but the way that Linux interprets a Windows program would not be correct. You can't just like drop it on there.
I mean, right? How do you know Microsoft doesn't have a Linux version of Edge?
I'm sure they might. This is whoa. That was my point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, you're just installing the Linux version of Edge. Okay.
No, yeah, but you say like you could just install any program or whatever. It's like, well, it's got to be interpretable by the operating system.
Okay. The distinction, yeah, okay, fair, yeah. I said something that was stupid in retrospect. It makes much more sense the way you're saying it.
Well, we're saying the same thing but different, maybe?
Yeah.
I think you guys wound up in the same place. Yeah.
We did, okay. Yes, yeah.
All right, so we did that. We clicked install. I can't actually read this because it's too small on this screen. So the next step says to go down here and find application internet and then add to Steam. So I think this says internet, yeah. And then right click this and Okay, we've added that to Steam. I'm reading I'm actually reading the Xbox Cloud Gaming website on another monitor. It's not the one you guys are seeing.
I was
you're
like, man,
confused.
you have really good eyesight, or you're wearing like magnifying spectacles or something. This text is very small.
Yeah, I'm reading. I'll pull the list up because when it's not tiny, it'll show for the reader. But we're like doing these steps. These steps actually were put out by Microsoft, so they're interested in getting it working.
They have a vested interest in you using their stuff anywhere you can, right? So
yeah,
good for them. Like that's cool that they're putting out directions.
In the add a game window, I assume that means in Steam.
I
think that means we need to open Steam, right?
Yeah, I think that's within Steam.
Okay, let's open up Steam. Oh my god, I can't see that. Good luck. All right. Oh, it's got my account info, so that's interesting. We'll have to block that later. I can't read this. There's no chance.
There is an add a game. It's in under one of those menus.
I can't read it. Oh man. What are we gonna I gotta get better at this streaming thing. Okay, game library.
Get out a magnifying glass.
I don't even think that would help.
From the top menu, it's under games.
It's under games, okay.
It would be the on my desktop. It would be the last option. It's like add a non-Steam game or something like that.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Now we've got all the stuff that is in. Microsoft Edge. Don't see it. Well, you guys talk amongst yourselves about why I should bother doing this. Try to make this work.
I mean, Michael, doesn't it feel like he should have done this a while ago?
I mean, maybe.
He gets he's the Game Pass person on this podcast, right? So it's like very sensible, in my opinion.
Yeah, to have got this up and running.
Right. I think this is probably poor radio we're making here.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said you guys talk amongst yourselves.
All right.
I'm trying to get it to work. I don't know.
What else did you get
up to,
Michael?
Very hard to see anything in here.
What happened to? I've been watching some Olympics.
Ooh. What?
Yeah, there's been some exciting goings on in what have I seen? Some men's gymnastics. The team all around. The women's gymnastics just aired today. The U.S. women's rugby team, I'll shout them out.
Oh, dude.
They won
this
clip.
The
this clip is sick.
Yes, the first Olympic medal in U.S. I think it was U.S. women's rugby sevens history, and they basically
years.
Yeah, in 100 years, and they walked it off with, for American audiences, the equivalent of a 95-yard touchdown.
Let's go.
on the last play of the game.
It is like you can see they're like really sad as they're like, getting ready to start the play, and they hand it off, and this lady just breaks free, and you could just see in her eyes she's like, I'm going home.
And she was not going to be denied.
Right, and she is like sprinting like the wind down this field, and you can see the other defenders like slowly trying to catch up, and it's like,
there's no chance.
She's like diving into the end zone. It's just like pure joy as the team comes over and starts, jumping and celebrating. It was so cool.
Yeah. So
People should go look up that clip. It's really funny.
that was definitely one of the better moments so far.
Did you watch the video of Snoop commentating badminton?
Oh, that was amazing.
That is one of the best, like, just proof that Uncle Snoop is
Uncle Snoop.
an American treasure. I love this man.
Yeah. My theory on the whole thing is that they brought out Snoop for this because they wanted to use Paris as a trial balloon for Snoop commentating LA in 28.
No, he's done the
please.
Olympics before. He did dressage like 4 years ago.
Did he?
Yeah, you go
Okay.
look up him and Kevin Hart talking about horse dressage. It's really really funny.
Okay.
It's really funny. He has no idea what the horses are doing or why, but he's having a great time trying to explain it.
I'm sure.
Okay, so this is the step that we're on since we're trying to do this insanity live on air, because why not? This doesn't work. I don't know how to restart Steam, maybe. But this step isn't working.
Well, it also may be assuming that you're in big picture mode, not in desktop mode Steam, right?
No, it wants you in desktop mode. I reread all the directions, but maybe exiting Steam and going back will do it, because maybe Steam was open. You know what I mean?
Could be.
So
Oh yeah,
we'll
like
try that.
it didn't refresh its list of things or whatever.
Yeah, that's possible. Anything's possible, right, Michael? No, it's still not there. So these directions don't work and you can't do it. So that's fun. Cool.
Instant defeatism sets in as soon as the first roadblock is hit.
Yeah, I was going to say those two sentences are not an if then.
Look, okay.
One
Let's
of them might
open
be true. That
Edge.
does not make the other one true.
Let's open Edge and see what happens here. Hi. Welcome to Edge. That's great. It's time to expect more, except may or may not work. I can't read that. I think that's one of those give all your information to Microsoft things. So I'm gonna just
Seems
put no on
seems likely.
that. Yeah. So cool. Edge works. It's installed. It's functional.
Is this Windows that we're booted into here, or
Nope. This is just Microsoft Edge.
Edge running on.
no? I mean the OS. This
No,
is the
it's,
desktop version of whatever Linux thing they have.
This is their desktop mode for their desktop mode for the Steam Deck.
Okay. It's also possible you have to restart, right? Because that's another one of those things where, like, after you install a thing, sometimes you have to reboot.
Okay, we can try that while
Yeah,
we
give
talk
that a
about the
shot.
Olympics. I can't believe that we didn't get closer in the fight with New Zealand and in the women's thing, the women's rugby. Oh, is this Edge?
We were in
Already here.
we were in the third place bronze medal game, so I don't know what happened that put us there as opposed to in the gold medal game.
Well, that's dumb. Look, it's already here. It's here 3 times.
Man, sure seems like it did work then, and you're complaining about nothing.
Well, no, but they gave me extra steps. So that's weird. They gave me extra steps. Okay.
Removing games is easy. I know
Yeah,
how
I
to
was
do
going to
that.
say somewhere along the way, an
How do I
update
remove it?
happened in it. Should be able
Right
to just
click.
yeah.
I can't read any of this.
Yeah, you need to do this when you can actually read the text, dude. You can't do this now.
Well, it's dumb because people want to see it. Okay, so we added the game or whatever. Application launcher console. We read any of this?
Let's see, what other good Olympic stuff did I watch? They haven't really started a lot of the track and field stuff, so I haven't gotten into that.
No, track and field is always the second week.
Yeah, I know. I like the track and field better than a lot of the stuff they're doing now.
Sure. Oh, did you hear the first I think the first scandal of this year's games involved the Canadian women's soccer team
What'd they do?
I read this. Oh, this is insane.
Yeah. So, what was it? 3 members of the coaching staff got suspended.
The head coach stepped down voluntarily.
That's what.
and,
Okay. Yeah.
and then 3 members on the team were suspended.
Yeah. Because they were caught, Andy, using a drone to spy on other teams' practices.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Turns out it's kind of against the rules.
What? Why?
Wait, is that?
Is that,
No,
is
I'm
that a
not
real
being
question?
serious.
Are you
No.
are you talking about why the Steam Deck thing isn't working? Or are you like saying,
No,
everyone should
I
be
was
allowed to
joking
use
about
drones?
the soccer team.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's like obviously they should be allowed to have closed practices. That's crazy. That they think like no one's going to notice this giant hovering drone with a camera. This is like a Michigan cheating scandal level of
I
like
was going to say, meanwhile, Bill Belichick is at home taking notes.
But
right.
I think he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill's done.
But man, what a dumb thing. And the head coach takes voluntarily steps down because he's like, "Oh, I don't want to, don't want to give that I use this information or whatever." Meanwhile, like, I'm sure they told the players.
Yeah.
No one's talking about them stepping down. Is the Olympics going to do anything about it? Are they going to sanction them, or is it like they're just like, "Oh, okay, like yeah, you said we got it, man, so it's fine"?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they would have to determine, either that players were also actively involved, or definitively show that they benefited from the information.
Yeah, I guess it happened before the match, right? So they can't say that like it affected the outcome of the match because the match hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Got it. Interesting. What a clown show. I hope who's the other team? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't remember who it was off the top of my head.
Say I hope they beat the crap out of him just to show them. Lesson learned.
Okay, so currently I'm copying over launch instructions for Microsoft Edge so that it will launch at the correct aspect ratio.
Okay, so that it'll like fill the screen the right way and make it look
otherwise
good or
it will
whatever.
be too big and not visible, I think. So I don't know how you apply that. I think you just close this window.
Yeah, those the launch option stuff is actually really cool. There's a few other games that support this in Steam. The ones I know of, Michael, are mostly the Trails games. The developer is very cool and has like a supported list of like a bunch of random launch options that you can put in there. Not only does it include like setting aspect ratios to whatever the heck you want, including stuff that's like insane and makes no sense. He's like, but you can do it. We'll try.
Check it out, dudes.
Hey, this looks like a thing.
That looks promising, right?
Okay.
Is this what Game Pass looks like?
This might possibly be Game Pass. Now I blur out my details, right? While I click on this thing here.
Yeah. It was New Zealand, JJ, the other team.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope New Zealand wins now. Take that, Canada. Also, isn't Canada supposed to be one of the better teams? So, like, do they need to scout New Zealand?
I was gonna say, I think Canada won both of their first 2 games.
This was in rugby also?
No, I think this is just soccer, women's soccer.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh, you're looking to get them disqualified out of rugby too?
Yeah. Then we would move up to silver.
Were they second?
So
Yeah.
Sorry, the Canadian team was penalized. They were deducted 6 points in their pool.
Oh,
so it's essentially like their 2 wins have been scrubbed off the board.
Oh, that sucks, man.
they're hosed. Getting out of soccer pools is hard if you are down 2 wins.
You can't. That's impossible.
It's not
You would
impossible.
not get out of your pool.
They could manage it, but they'd need a lot of help. Everything would have to fall just the right way.
Yeah, they basically you have to win your third game, and then you have to make sure all the tie breaks break your way, which is like super unlikely.
So that third game has to be against one of the two teams, essentially it would be, that are above you. And then you also have to have I think you'd have to have the goal differential be high enough.
And then you also need them to beat the right teams, the other teams to lose them the right way, so that it lines up for you. Yeah.
So right now, I'm looking at the pool. It's possible. So Colombia and France each have 1 win, and New Zealand 1 win and 1 loss, and New Zealand has 2 losses. And then apparently there are a couple of teams that qualify out of the third spot. So the first 2 teams in each pool automatically qualify, and then they select, I don't remember how many it is, but essentially the next however many best teams get pulled in as well.
Okay. I think that's kind of how the World Cup works. I don't remember the exact World Cup rules.
Yeah, that's always how it would work, but
gentlemen, we've learned a valuable lesson.
Is it that you're about to play Celeste?
PC Game Pass does not apparently allow you to stream Xbox Cloud.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
you don't have
higher paid.
You don't have ultimate tier. You have to, the xCloud stuff is all tied up on the highest tiers thing, I think.
Well, I hope that made for good radio.
Would like to sponsor Andy to.
But I think it's worth saying, like, if you had that subscription, you would like hit go and it would work here, right?
Yeah.
So it is possible to do.
This looks
it would have worked. I think it would be done at this point, right? We would be playing it.
Yeah. So if you were paying for the higher tier of whichever Game Pass subscription thing it is, then you would be playing the game.
So I'm trying to go to Game Pass right now, the website, to see. They used to have here's what Game Pass costs button.
Oh, they've just jacked up the prices of that recently, though. So I bet that button is long gone.
Yeah, $11.99 a month is the new price for Game Pass, right? And Cloud comes with Game Pass Ultimate. Ultimate is now $8 more a month.
So $20 a month. Woo.
$20 a month is a rough ask for streaming a game.
I mean, I guess you have to make sure you get if you're going to do that, you better be using this, right?
Yeah, well, and also, like, do you want to stream AAA games? I don't know that the response is there for that.
Well, I mean, you'd have to try it, right? How would you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we tried it.
I think it's cool that it's possible.
I wish I could install games.
Hold on, Andy, think about this. What's the difference here? $8 a month requires how many months before it's worth it for you to buy that other handheld?
A lot of months.
It's a lot of months, dude.
100 months.
It's a lot of months.
Yeah, but do you think that the response rate of... I was thinking you could... we were going to try Celeste because I was going to see how bad the lag was.
I bet it's probably playable. Otherwise, why would they be putting it on here, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, Celeste is one of the games that would tell you for sure, though, because especially when you get to some of those harder levels in the strawberries, there's like, you really need to hit those jumps on the right time.
Yeah. Well, on that bitter disappointment, it's time to end. Is that Clarkson's line?
That is the like old Top Gear sign off. Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about F1 disappointments. How disappointed do you think George Russell is right now?
Dude. I assume he'd be very disappointed that his team screwed him over.
Yeah. What a finish, though.
Well, what like an amazing race that was completely like deflated afterwards when they were like, oh, the winner is disqualified for being underweight.
Yeah. How long has it been since that's happened?
A pretty good amount of time, but it's not like it's never happened before. I mean, it happened to like even Michael Schumacher, so it's not,
It has happened, huh?
yeah, it's not unheard of. For folks who are interested in like maybe what was going on or something, you could go watch Julian Palmer does a YouTube video for F1 TV that kind of goes into like, well, how does this happen? And like, is this why he won? He talks a little bit about that. And I think the like short answer he says is like, yes, probably wasn't enough to give him the win, but like pretty open shut case, you can't not disqualify him. It's like black and white. He's on the wrong side of the line.
It's not like he's on the line at the weight,
Or there was some kind of mitigating circumstance, like, oh, his car like hit a bump and half of it broke off or something, right? Like
Yeah.
a piece broke off, right? Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
No.
He's got a gas leak and leaked fuel out.
Or damaged floor or something. Like, no, it's the car is fine. It's just underweight. So
How'd they mess that up?
the speculation is that like as they're furiously swapping components to like make the setup work or whatever, they didn't properly weigh them, and so like one component was a little underweight from where it should be or something like that. But no one knows because Mercedes
All they
hasn't
had to
said,
do,
right?
all they had to do was leave an extra ratchet in the seat.
Well, ballast it like an extra like 1.5 pounds, right? Like a sandbag.
Cool Runnings taught us how to do this in the 90s, man. Weights in the front.
Yeah. Just too bad, man. It was a very exciting finish, and the whole race was actually interesting. Normally, it's not at this track. So,
Yeah, and the Red Bull continues to struggle. So I'm sure that excites a lot of people.
yeah, the fight is on at the front, right? So that's cool.
Yeah. Everything I'm seeing says I'm going to have to dual boot this thing if I want to install the games directly.
Well, if the fight is on in this podcast, Michael, where would people contact us?
They can send that to podcast@weweregamers.com. Send us some support for Andy to bump up his Game Pass tier. Feel free to fund us.
But
There you go. Microsoft, if you're listening.
Yeah.
I would try it. I don't know that I will try it. We'll see. Maybe I'll record something tomorrow when I try and pay $8 a month extra and see if it's even playable. But we're out of time today for finding out will he, won't he? God, that was...
Tune in next week.
It was only difficult because I can't see anything on the screen at all. I've got to remember how to stream this stupid thing.
Yeah, I mean, an external monitor would solve this, right?
Yeah. Or being able to mirror it onto the deck screen. I got to remember how to do all of it. But